This is my IRS module, and this module will be on PALS, which is an approach to help students work together to improve reading or literacy-related skills. PALS stands for Peer Assisted Learning Strategies, and it will benefit my kindergarten classroom specifically by allowing students to help each other improve on literacy skills and use strategies that they have been given to improve on a certain skill. So today, first, I want to talk about the challenge that I have chose to focus on for the purpose of this module. So this certain literacy skill that I want students to improve on using PALS is hesitating at unknown words when reading. So our challenge here is many students will wait to be told an unknown word when reading aloud. So in grades K1, all readers are beginners and still learning their reading strategies. Some students will stop when they get to an unknown word they are unfamiliar with, especially if reading aloud. A lot of times they'll wait to be told by a teacher or another classmate if they're working in groups how to pronounce the unknown word. This is a difficult habit to break, but one that we don't want to let continue into upper grades. Even if students don't suffer the consequence right away, they will not know how to tackle words like this in the future when they approach a word that they are unfamiliar with. So we want to teach them strategies at a young age for how to pronounce and sound out these words on their own whenever they come to an unfamiliar word in the text. So our observed challenge is students stop at unfamiliar words and look to teacher or classmate to tell them how to pronounce it. The desired solution that we want is we want the students to get to an unknown word and use strategies to discover how to pronounce the word on their own while reading. And again, this is, I chose this topic from the book, but it is something that I've observed a lot in my reading groups at my school and my placement, just in kindergarten. So initial thoughts about this. Are what strategies could you use to suggest to prompt students to read ahead even when they are at a word that they become unfamiliar with? And then what could the teacher do if she is reading with the students and they pause when they get to a word they don't know and wait for her to tell them? So after some research and using our textbook, this is what I found. So again, this connects to this a kindergarten standard, know and apply grade level phonics and word analysis skills and decoding words. And that's ultimately what these students are doing. They're presented a word that they're unfamiliar with, and they need to learn how to decode it on their own and use grade level phonics to analyze and pronounce the word. So there are several factors that could be causing this hesitation when students get to an unfamiliar word. Students could have not been taught a strategical way to identify these words, or another possibility is that students are used to someone telling them these unknown words whenever they pause and wait for a teacher or a classmate to help them. So this could even be a parent or someone that reads with them outside of school. They could be telling them their unfamiliar words when they reach them instead of pushing them and prompting them to try to figure it out on their own. So some strategies that could be helpful: stress that you want the student to attempt the unknown word without help. Wait 5 or 10 seconds and see whether or not that the student will try on their own. Discuss what the student thinks should be done when confronted with an unknown word. And then have students read this, read on to see if they can use information from the next line to figure out what the unknown word is. You could also have students go back and read the last line to see if it gives hints to what the unknown word could be. ask students to reread the sentence and give a word that starts with the same initial sound as the unknown word and see if that helps them to decode that unknown word. And again, if the students are coming to a spot where there are 4 or 5 words or a phrase that they are having hesitation on and can't pronounce any of those words, then they're probably reading material that is too difficult for them. So we need to make sure that this is not the case, because students will become easily frustrated and have less of a desire to read. And then on the last page, you'll just find a wrap up of how PALs can be incorporated to help students better conquer unknown words while reading by having students hold each other accountable when coming to a word they do not know. So when students are working in a group or as teachers, we should be prompting students to figure out those words on their own, or encouraging classmates to push their classmates to pronounce those words on their own, instead of one student telling a lower level student what the vocabulary is that they're unfamiliar with. And then lastly, if you will just answer a few questions at the end of this module for a post-assessment.